Well, good afternoon, and thanks again. I appreciate it for like being down to talk. And oh, we're stuck in this quarantine.
For sure. I really appreciate the invite, something to mix it up. And now that everything is going remote, virtual, like why not jump in with both feet, you know?
Yeah, it's been nice to be more creative. I see a lot. Obviously you have some artwork behind you.
Yeah, my side hustle has turned into my full-time hustle, and I'm doing fiber arts and plant integration products in my company, and yeah, I've been working on a lot of the stuff that you see behind me.
That's
Mhm.
super cool. So first of all, why I thought of you, just I look up to a lot of female DJs that I see and I've heard, and I just like have a lot of respect, first of all. And then like it was like I really wanted to change up our pace. Of like I had someone remind me, he's like, dude, you've had all dudes on your podcast. And I was like, so I asked Whitney, and she was like, I think you should have Sin. So it was like it was really cool to like go back and forth with her. And she was like, yeah, let's ask her. So it's really cool to like, yeah, thanks for being,
Oh,
yeah, it's cool. um
thank you.
let's yeah um Man, let's start off. How old were you when you first got into music? Were you just, what did you like as a kid? That's what I like.
So some of my earliest memories are WBBM FM in Chicago, and it was just like on the radio all the time, the same way that you hear about like kids being raised by TV. My mom just always had the radio on at home, and it was like the thing that kept her like her on schedule when she was getting ready for work. Like you get up with the alarm clock, you go in the bathroom, turn on the radio, get in the shower. And so just like pop music of like the mid 80s and late 80s just kind of got into my ear like a wormhole. And I I think nobody in my family was really that musically inclined, but just having that presence all the time, I just got used to like music always surrounding me from that age. And um, I think the initial like dance music or wormhole that got me was like JJ Fad, Supersonic, and like Beastie Boys and stuff. Just hearing
Dope.
that on the radio, and but I mean, I've been into so many different styles of music, like electronic, non-electronic, classical, and everything. But I think that's what planted the seed about just the whole quantized, like repetitive thing. I grew up in such a white community that like hip hop wasn't really a thing, even though we were like living through the golden age of it. So I'm catching up with that in the last like decade. But yeah, just as a kid, music was around with my mom listening to it all the time, and then got to like middle school, and you had the opportunity to like learn an instrument, and everyone encouraged me to do that. So I wasn't doing anything else, so I learned how to play the flute and the piccolo, and that's how I learned how music works, like truly, the understanding scales and rhythms and how to break it all down. And I truly do feel like that actually also has contributed to my abilities just as a DJ. Like if I didn't have that training, I don't think that it would click nearly the way that it does.
Absolutely.
So,
That's cool. The
so
flute and the
yeah.
piccolo, those are, the piccolo's, for people who don't know, it's like a smaller flute, correct?
Yeah, so the
Right.
regular flute is about yay long, and you hold it one side, and it's all about like blowing across this hole. And you play. You're like, it's like one of the only things that instruments with woodwinds that's not in the middle.
Uh-huh.
But then the piccolo is just the tinier version, and it's just several octaves up, so it will play the same exact music, but it's just a higher pitch.
I remember one of my friends in school studying both of those instruments, and I just remember her talking the same thing, like blowing over a hole is like a hole. It's like takes so
Mhm.
long to look, like just to learn how to hold your mouth into place is like it's training to play any woodwind, right? Like not just that, but like I guess that's one of the harder ones I hear.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not a very good whistler, you might be able to relate to like the difficulty of it's the same kind of thing. You have to keep doing. You have to keep kind of rolling around and finding that sweet spot, with moisture and
Oh,
vibration. So
that's cool. I was just trying to play the kazoo the other day on my like looper, and I was struggling. I guess I was holding it the wrong way, and someone on my live stream was like, "Hey, dude, like you got to hold it the other way."
oh, you had it turned around.
Yeah, I didn't. It was making noise. I don't know.
Yeah.
um,
So yeah, the piccolo and flute. I played those all through high school too, but when I went to college, I had other ideas, so I set that stuff down. But that's when I started just massively collecting music as a spectator, just like a huge indie punk, hardcore, underground, any post-hardcore, like emo, like all those types of music, through what I feel like was a real golden age of independent music in the 90s and pre-grunge,
yeah.
well, and during grunge, but just all the live music that I could handle. I was going to all those shows and collecting all that music, and then about 2000, I started hearing all these more electronic sounds, and kind of harkened me back to the beginning of like the early sounds that I liked as a kid on the radio, and I just was like, I'm really curious about this. I'm starting to see all these like cocktails, dimly lit cocktail venues with like some dude usually in the corner DJing, and I'm like, I've got more music than fucking everybody that I know combined. Like I should probably figure out how to put my music together so I can do that. And next thing you know, and I moved to Portland, I started meeting all these people that were DJs, and it just kind of happened to me. I didn't like pick it. It was just next thing I know, I'm surrounded by tons of people like yourself, like your background, with tons of gear that will invite you over at any minute and want to play and jam and yeah, that was around
Cool.
2000.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been blessed on the dance floor a couple of times while you've been playing. Or I'm a big dancer, and I just I like to bump elbows and get out there and cut shapes, and it's nice to like have some music that I personally enjoy and can relate to. And yeah, good stuff. Um, do you remember like maybe one of your first parties that just like really stuck just as an attendee, like a party in particular that just like really stuck out as an attendee before you started playing, that maybe you saw someone who you reached out to and eventually like gave you some oversight or some, I don't know. I've had a lot of
Yeah.
people over the years where I've been, after communication and slowly working my way, like how can you rub some wisdom off on me, like Tim, for instance, Rev, like all of us in New Mexico, like he's so respected, and it was really cool just for him to drop some wisdom. And I just appreciated those small moments. I look back now, there was very few people that I could probably count them on one hand that like I can owe a lot to. So I don't know if you have any of those people that stick out for when you started.
Well, like I said, when I first moved to Portland around 2000, I just found this big community of everybody was learning at the same time. So yeah, there were several people, and who I'll mention in a second, but it was definitely this crazy, awesome collaborative thing where people were just getting together and like figuring stuff out and kind of just like trial and error, which kind of like blew my mind, that we could just get gear and just like see what works and what doesn't, but there were two people that really helped me out in the beginning in Portland. One was this guy named DJ Barry, that he still lives here, but he doesn't play at all that I know of, but he taught me quite a bit. And he was teaching this other girlfriend of mine, like they were real one-on-one. And so his friend Marcus, who goes by Professor Stone, he moved to Fresno, I think. But Marcus and Barry had this like battle. They were like, I'll teach this girl and you teach that girl, and we'll see which girl will be better. And well, I'm the one that's still playing, so. But no, really, I'm just totally blowing smoke. But no, Marcus really was patient with me and wanted me to do well, and took time and like would have me come over and play, and do the whole like just trade records all night long kind of thing. And yeah, he probably doesn't even realize how big of an effect he had on me playing, but I learned tons from him. And then there was a show early on before I really even knew how to play. So everybody in my friend group wanted to go see Sandra Collins, and I didn't know who she was, and I didn't really like trance necessarily, but all my friends were going, and that's just kind of what you do sometimes, is you just go do what your friends are doing. And I got there, and there was a guy playing, and I don't know if it was just like what I took or like what what just my mindset at the time, but what he was playing and his whole vibe was really speaking to me. So I remember like going up to him and being like, "You're so good. Like, can you teach me what you're doing?" And it turns out it was Tronic. It was DJ Tronic. And but that was the first time I'd ever seen him or heard of him in about 2001. And he's just standing there like sweating head to toe, like no shirt, and opening for Sandra. And I don't even think I stayed to watch Sandra Collins. I just was like, "You're a god. Oh my God, you're the best thing I've ever seen." And then just bounced. So, like I said, I had a little bit of chemical health that night, but it was still a lot of fun. And we joke about that to this day, because he's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that girl that contacted me that was like all, totally kissing my butt and thought that I was so good. Like, now you're so good," And I was like, "Well, that's very nice for you to say." But
do you have a favorite party you've ever played, or maybe like if you could name a favorite party that you've actually played where that experience like made it much more, worth that much more? Just for instance, being an attendee and eventually falling in love with the music, and then being able to play and share that same experience, with your friends and then these new people at the same time. Like, is there one, two parties, like maybe off the top of your head, that you can think of?
Well, so far we've been talking about like really early days, and I feel like my moments like that, like that you're asking about, came later. And I can think of like three. There was I don't know if this is commonly known, but I kind of have this like roller coaster relationship with my DJing. I'll have like a 5-year period where I go hot and heavy and I'm really like into it. And then then I just get like, I got to do something else. And I like almost completely put it down and go it completely into seclusion. and then nobody hears from me. And then something will happen and then it will bring me back. And this has happened like 3 or 4 times. So on the end of one of these like absences around 2007, Maximus asked me to play Fire, and he asked me to play right after Christian Martin, the sunrise set on the last morning. And to me, that invite is that like the timing of that and the placement and the whole like scheme of what Fire is when it rolls out and everything. That was a major compliment, but also like major pressure to like kill it, Yeah. So that I got up there, I was still playing on Tractor at the time, and Tractor being like kind of problematic and having to hook it up while someone else is playing and everything. There was a lot of anxiety, a lot of like butterflies, and just is this going to be okay? And then got it set up, first time playing on a Function One system, and I mean, the sun came up and everybody's in the morning, and that like changeover feeling, like I mean, I was sold on the sunrise set for good after experiencing that, and I just appreciated him, like having the respect for me to invite me to play that set after I had been like out of the loop for so long, you know, like he didn't really owe me anything like that, but it was a really, I hate using the word magical, but I mean, just it literally was like, okay, this is the feeling that I need. This is the feeling that you get when you're doing the right thing, when you're in the right place, the right time, with the right people, and yeah, after that I was hooked again for another like 5 years.
That's like also just my favorite time to be up at the event at that time. The sun's just coming up, and you know, people are coming out of their tents and all that stuff. It's like Tim on our last podcast was saying the same thing. Like, it's just a whole different feeling at that time in the morning. It's like that. It's hard to explain. It's
It's the
interesting.
opposite of the witching hour. Like the witching
Yeah.
hour is like, oh, what kind of mischief can we get into, you know? And then, but like this, like early dawn and into the sunrise is sort of like, it's just like coming alive again. And I don't know, like we got a whole new clean slate. What are we gonna do with that, you know?
Fun. Um. Let's outside of DJing, like I obviously we talked a little bit about your art and your business, not too much yet, but I've been watching you like grow from just starting to now, and it's really cool to see one of my friends like be successful and just her own thing that's like, you know, entirely captained by her from you know, from idea to fruition, and then off into the world as a paid like legit beautiful item that could be in someone's home. Can you talk about maybe your artwork and how that led to your business? Because I think just from afar, I think that's what I saw. You were making really cool artwork, and then you turned it into something that you could share with everyone else.
Yeah, thank you. That recognition is just, I'm humbled. Thank you so much. I So DJing was always my outlet creatively, except during those times where I like had to set it down. So then there was this like restlessness, this like feeling of like, well, I'm not doing music. What the hell am I doing then with my life? And I've always held some kind of a 9 to 5 job because capitalism. And I also had an arc with that. You know, I got to a point where that wasn't fulfilling either. It was just like, what am I doing? Am I just living to work? And then working so that I'm able to live.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to explore another medium. You know, instead of music, I started to explore textiles and fiber art at the same time as I was really like developing this like deep love and appreciation for plants, and they just seem to kind of go hand in hand, where the more plants I amassed while I'm making these pieces of artwork like wall hangings and stuff, it was like, well, why not make these functional, because I don't have any table space left. Like I literally like mother is the invention is the, what is the saying, invention is the mother of necessity. I think that's the saying. So like I really needed to get all this crap off of my tabletop. So I started using my new craft that I was enjoying doing to create things that would hold the plants. And then the next thing you know, there's like this whole other section of what I've been working on besides just decorative textile wall art. I've got now functioning plant hangers, and it just kept going from there. You know, it was, not only was it fulfilling, but it was a way to make money, and it was filling that hole that I was having not doing music, and the distraction from like corporate burnout. That what I'm learning now, a lot. I'm 45, and people hit that big time like right around middle 40s, almost no matter what you do. So um, so hey, I'm normal. I hit corporate burnout. I figured out a side hustle and here I am. And hopefully this will carry me out, you know, because I don't, I can't sit at a desk for all day long ever
Yeah,
again after all this.
absolutely. I I can definitely relate to the part of like stepping away from your music and diving in your art heavily. You know, with my day job,
Yeah.
so which is like not many people. You know, I've been very blessed to like have the position that I've had for the past 4 years now, and working
Mhm.
with kids specifically and doing art. Often I stay after work after my stressful day, often there, and I'll stay an extra hour just to work on something for me, whether it's my lunch hour or it's me coming in early to jump on the wheel and just kind of, I have a routine every day. I go into work and I'll do something for 20 minutes in the morning before like I start my day or start my emails, even though I know I have things to do. Like I make
Mhm.
that point, and that's been out of my routine now for a while. And it's been super stressful. So I was able to like go back to work and go and get a bunch of art supplies. So I now have my
Mhm.
table, but I find myself doing a lot of drawing right now, and it's not really my thing as far as my skill level. So I'm definitely challenging myself. I'm in no way, shape, or form going to show anyone any of my drawings, but we might get there one day. It's really cool to see someone to make it to that point where they're like, no, I can do this. Whitney, my wife, last year started LLC for her bakery, and we were almost to the point again in a brick and mortar thing where we decided to pause, and it will eventually get there. But it's been almost like we dodged we dodged a bullet by not going full force, because we would have been definitely like one of the other brick and mortar shops right now who are now having a really hard time. In fact, the other day I was lucky enough to stop by my buddy's house who owned a bar, and he had like a couple of 6-packs left, and I was like, I was able to get some beer and support my buddy, one of my favorite bars in town. But
Yeah.
it's been rough to see our community like that, struggling, people losing their jobs and whatnot. Is having something like this not only to make money but to be creative at the same time is like, it's definitely a win-win. And it's special that you're able to do that, because not everyone gets that blessing of art in their lives like that at that level.
I feel hugely blessed just because of the fact that I had the one and I'm able to like decide which one. I mean,
Mhm.
what a what a luxury that is, you know. Um, it's I feel a little guilty sometimes because I know a lot of people are really bored right now or really
Yeah.
stressed out because they're taking care of like 4 kids and they're trying to homeschool them and they're not educators. And I'm like, which one of my artistic things am I going to do today? You know?
Hmm.
So I'm not complaining. I feel really, really lucky. And I wanted to say, I relate to your comment about dodging a bullet. I'm in my home right now and it's been fine working out of here on the textile portion of this. And I was almost about to sign a lease on a brick and mortar as well.
Yeah.
In fact, if like, I like to describe it like it was kind of like an online dating thing, like a really typical online dating thing that when we first met in November, it was all hot and heavy and back and forth and like feeling like it was going somewhere. And then came to Christmas and New Year and it took a pause, like, expectedly because things are busy and they don't operate the same over the holidays. And then coming to January, I was like expecting to like hear back and like keep going down that road. And they literally ghosted me for like
Oh
six
man.
weeks. And so that gets us into about February 15th.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and so in my mind, I wrote it off completely. And then February 28th, this leasing company hits me up and goes, okay, well, we're ready to go now. We've got the lease for you. And I was like, there's no, I'm super gun shy about working with you now because I haven't heard from you in a month and a half. And B, hello, coronavirus. Like we're about to go into like quarantine
Oh
and
man.
shelter in place. Like like I really want to be on the hook for $3,000 of rent to you a month right now and never be able to open, period.
Yeah.
So really dodged a bullet there by just hesitating a little bit.
And then you even have Chachin on, making some things too, right? You all, who also is a DJ. How is that, also dating another DJ and / artist?
It's funny. It's
We love Chach. Chach is a good dude. I fucking love
oh
Chach.
yeah, I love him very much. But as you know, he's kind of a pig cat a little bit sometimes, just like running around and running around and running around, and like you never know like where's he gonna stop, like what's gonna come of this, but he usually makes something pretty cool happen. So it's great having him on board. He's doing metal welded plant stands, and I know that's been a source of creativity for him outside of music, and it's really rounds out what we do so that it's not just like crafts. Like the metal really gives it like more of like a balls kind of like harder edge that to the yin and the yang, I think. And as a business, so I'm really glad for that. And they sell, the people love them. I'll show you some in a little bit. But the balancing the music thing has been interesting because I kind of told him from the get-go that that I wasn't, like, I started around 2000 and it's now 2020, so that's just 20 years. And I told him, I'm like, I love music, but I'm not like trying to hog the calendar and like play 7 nights a week or play 7 nights a month. Like I want to play the things I want to play. I want to get out of it what I want to get out of it. It's for me now, instead of kind of like this ego-driven thing that I think it was for me a lot when I was younger. And so there's been kind of a balance there, because that we have to work toward, because he's pretty motivated and he wants to do a lot more music stuff than I do. And I just try to be like, you go do that. You like, you know what? I want to be the DJ's girlfriend. I want you to go play and I'll just show up and hang out and be pretty. Like, so like once in a while, I like to do that and not have to be the one that's on, and so we've figured it out. We've just kind of found a good balance with all that.
Yeah, it's I could relate. Whitney started DJing only a couple years ago, and it was incredible, like how good she got so fast. And just like to this day, she's like, "Can I practice?" I'm like, "Sure." And I'm still just like sitting there with my jaw open, like, how in the
What
world?
happened?
Yeah, for those people who don't know, like my wife and I have been together almost like 12 years ish, somewhere around there at this point. And when we first started going to parties together and just, being like dance floor partners, like, I don't think either of us saw it getting this far. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, right.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
neither of
Chach and I met in like 2008. I had been the music supervisor at Saucebox for 7-8 years or something at that point. Maybe it was even later, but anyway, I left and I wasn't doing that anymore. I was like, been there, done that. And I walked in, I think just like pick up a check or something. And he had a night there, and he didn't know that I was like all done with it. And he was all like, "Oh, hey girl, want to come play my night?" And I'm just like, dude. But we laugh about that now, because like, how would he have known? And I didn't try to rub it in his face, but I was sort of like, I used to run this place, man. But now we've had some really fun events that we played together, and he pushes me musically, definitely. Like, I'm a way better DJ having met him. And in this, like I've mentioned, the phases I've gone through, like this current phase that involves him, like I'm a busy DJ now. Like I do a lot of stuff. Like I do effects and I do loops, and it's creative, and I feel like it's like a live performance way more than I ever have, than just like, playing 2 progressive house songs together that like takes a half hour by the time you mix 2, I used to play like that in the early days, and so yeah, I don't know. He's a yang and I'm a yang or whatever.
No, you guys are definitely a solid couple. It's really cool to see how balanced you are together. It's really cool. And who
Yeah.
I've also had the pleasure of playing, with him and hearing him play, and he's definitely is a whole different style of like what I grew up. He could play a million genres in the same set and like make it work. It's
I
really
love that.
cool.
And
It's really cool to see that, like, to go from
yeah.
here and just he's really good at telling a story and like mixing it pretty well for the most part, like all the way through, considering like the extreme like BPM change.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Like that is to me, that was a challenge that I was up for because I was like, well, what else am I going to do with this? I've been playing four on the floor or like breaky, like syncopated stuff, for so long. Like, how do I up the game? And so enter Chach, and like now I will start a set from his influence. I'll start a set at 85 BPM and end it at like 145. And I love it. I'm like, what
That's
else can
cool.
we throw in there? Let's get the kitchen sink. Yeah.
Whitney just kind of started using loops and just got more comfortable with using loops and learning loops on the Pioneer gear, which is it's sometimes hard to like find the exit button on the loop because if you're using like like an auto loop on the screen, for instance, and you go to that and you use
Mhm.
like one of the buttons, it's
Yeah.
really hard to like find the exit 'cause it's far away. It's just a lot of stress for, I think, just so much going on with loops. I'm not sure if they will one day figure out how to put all in one place, but like there's an option of doing a manual loop, right? Like, in out, right? And then
Mhm.
you could click the screen and do one of those auto ones. There's also slip loops. I don't know if you've dealt with slip loops yet. I don't mess with
Is it
those
the
yet.
backwards? Is it the
Um,
backwards loop?
it's just like when you release, you could loop it for as long as you hold the button, and when you
Mm.
let it go, it goes back to where it would have been in sequence, I guess.
Oh,
It's
okay.
also like slip. There's a slip vinyl mode, but there's a slip loop mode as well.
Okay. I know
Uh,
that button, but I don't think I've ever ventured there.
I've tried. It sometimes works. I could definitely relate to like trying to change it up, and often myself, I'm guilty for changing it up too much and like doing way too much experimental things for sure. Got
Oh,
myself in some predicaments.
don't apologize. Never, never. Just seriously, like safe DJ sets are so boring.
Yeah.
Like if you can just predict the next 20 transitions because it's just all built on the same song structure, like kill me.
I
Like
could
I don't
definitely
have.
feel better being able to use this newer mixer that I have to like I have all these old rock and roll records and just like so many different genres I've been listening to lately, and I just for home listening pleasure sometimes I'll try to quote unquote mix them and just like track drop. But what's really cool is you could track drop into something and put a really like nice effect on the other side going out. It never felt like anything ever happened. Like you still got to like cut it right and all those things, but the effects is a whole nother art if you do it well and you know the music well and what it can and can't do. But I was always kind of refrained from it, and lately I've been definitely trying to just set for home use, at least listening to multiple genres. Like
I mean,
like I
if you
said,
can get good at that, you'll have work forever.
yeah,
You'll have work for any kind of background music, and really become known for being able to play anything, anytime. And I mean, I cut my teeth doing a lot of lounges and 9 p.m. to midnight sets where like they don't really want a DJ, but they want to hear the DJ,
yeah,
heard and
I can
seen. And
relate to some of those places.
yeah, and so I mean, like if like I just say keep with it, just radio style. Like I mean, the most of the vinyl that I've kept, like I quit buying vinyl a long time ago, but most of the vinyl I've kept is the music that would fit that bill, just because it's so valuable. That whole archetype of
Sample
like,
gold too.
yeah, yeah, totally,
Do
yeah, a
you
lot
do
of.
you write music?
I dabbled in it for a few years, and I think I made some super average to below average stuff. And I'm such a goal oriented, like I need to finish this kind of person, that it was real. I didn't enjoy it as much as you'd think. That,
Mhm.
I don't know. I I need to like work on something, and then I need it to be done. And like the whole idea, like starting all these songs and then having them hanging out there, and because that's the process,
Yeah, I
And
have a million unfinished things. That's pretty much
yeah.
all.
So I got enough of those going, and
Mhm.
then I just was like, I don't feel like finishing any of these, and I don't feel like starting any new ones. So what I do love is sitting with someone that is like really knows it, Ableton inside and out, that also I have similar music taste with, and we can sit together and I can be like, okay, I like, here's 4 samples that I like. I think we should start from here. Like, I'm going to bring this to the table. Like, this is my taste. This is my influence. Like, this is how I want to sequence these, and then let them do the Ableton part, because it's like literally like I get it and I've done it, but I don't enjoy it the way that some people just get in there and
Absolutely. I can relate to just being like, I just rather go play records right now and just have fun sometimes. I feel like
yeah.
writing music is definitely tedious unless you absolutely have a workflow that makes it to a point where it's fun, because I definitely don't have the fun workflow yet on that at all. um
Yeah. My thing right now that's like the closest to that, which is not even, but I'm like finding, I'll hear a modern song, but there'll be some sample in it that's recognizable. And just due to my age, I've got a probably, I've got a decade or two more of memory of music than some of my friends. And so I'll be like, oh, I know that original song. And I'll go back and find it. And then I'll go find all the songs that sampled that song. And then basically now I've got like 5 songs in a row that are all chiming back to that same sample from the original song, and come up with like a 20-25 minute little like medley thing that I play live. And I'm like, to me, that's almost like producing, because it's like, well, I'm going the same place that all those people went when they made those songs, and kind of like just bringing them all together and then giving it to you live. So I don't know, it's
oh,
like a hybrid
cool.
DJ production thing that I'm enjoying doing. The
That's really
most recent
cool.
one, the sample was a disco sample. Shit. Now I can only think of the newest one. The newest one I'm doing, I'm gonna give it away. It's from that song by Player, Baby Come Back.
Yeah.
So there's like 5 songs. There's like a Kodak Black song. There's a Young Gravy song. There's a Vanessa Hudgens song, and they all sample that song. And so I'm figuring out a way to like cut back and forth and play
Oh my God. I
that.
can't wait to hear it. That's awesome. Do
Yeah.
you have any of these recorded anywhere? Like maybe in a live set
Um,
somewhere? That'd be awesome to
the
hear it.
the last one I played it at Chacha's birthday, which was like the last big event I went to before lockdown in early March, and I think we recorded that night. I'll have to look. I don't know
How
100%
cool.
sure. Yeah.
Man, what else is new? We got really cool art going. Do you have some links you can send me? We could like share on here or something?
Well, my website, if you want that for Wild House, is just Wild HAUS PDX. So Wild E House, but German PDX.
Nice.
I do need, I could write it down, but um .com. That's the WILDHAUSPDX.com. Is
Wildhousepdx.com.
Yeah, but there's a little E in the middle there because it's
Okay.
just to make it more complicated. Um, and that's my online store that's got all my products and Chacha's products.
Here it
And
is.
we consider ourselves a biophilic design collective where oh, look at that. You just blew my screen up. I love
Yeah.
it.
So this is your website here,
Yeah.
wildhousepdx.com, and you have all the stands and the wall hangings. What a cool website.
Mm-hmm. Thank
Awesome.
you. And yeah, so that's got all the stuff right now that
Hit
we've been
subscribe.
making.
Don't forget to subscribe to her website. And when she adds
Yes,
something, right?
if you subscribe, you'll get 15% off your first
Boom.
purchase.
You heard it. You heard it here.
Yeah. Um, and that's my main thing. I just did a trade of product for photography, so I've got a ton of new photos to upload that's
Nice.
on my list of stuff to do. So there's going to be a big update coming pretty soon.
People could buy
Uh,
gift certificates. Look at this.
yep.
Nice. All right. Do you have a SoundCloud that we should be looking out for out there? Do you have anything
I
else?
do. It's just slash the perfect sin. And I haven't uploaded anything in a couple of years, but I do have 2 mixes I'm like halfway done mastering. So I'm hoping to get a party I played in January up in the next week or so. I
Nice.
played this, it's called the VIP party, where everybody was a VIP at Produce Row, and Booty Corp Booty Corp hosted that one,
Cool.
and it was a good time. And that set's really fun. I start out doing some like house tempo hip hop re-edits, and I'll go all the way up into like practically juke. So
Oh, dope.
it's a fun set. It's a real fun set. So
So here's that SoundCloud if you want to follow. Hopefully we'll have some more up there eventually for sure. Any other links that we should know about or something like that?
I, that's kind of like who I am right now.
All
Those 2
right.
things. Yeah, the other stuff I had going on is kind of on pause. So I mean, like True North Collective in Montevilla, like they brought me on as a macrame teacher, and I'm doing workshops there, but those are all like suspended at the moment. But you could go, I think it's True North Studios, pdx.com. You could show that. I'd love to send them some love. It's
What's
a
the website? Let's do a screen share again one more time.
pretty sure it's truenorthstudios.com, or it might be truenorthpdx.com.
Oops.
There it is.
Sweet. Shout out True North.
Oh yeah. So go to the site. There's all these it's just a huge collective in a warehouse with a lot of like art
Cool.
materials and just resources, was from silk screen to painting to
Sharing
paper,
tools and all that. That's really cool.
yeah, they just brought me on as a teacher, and then all this stuff happened. So they deserve some love, no matter what. If you want to send them some money to keep
Yeah,
going, or if you
they have
want
a
to,
thing there. You could donate right here on the front page. Click donate.
yeah. Yeah, they actually pointed me toward a couple of resources I applied for, just as some local people with financial resources that want to help artists. And I applied and I was a recipient of a modest little grant, just to help out in
Awesome.
these times with the money lost and stuff. So they're
That's
good,
really
real
cool.
good people.
What else? I saw you have a doggo. We saw the doggo before we started
Yeah, he's
recording.
been here. Every time I look down, it's because
Yeah.
he's been here the whole time trying to nib in. Come on, look,
Rocky.
Rocky. Yeah,
Oh.
look over here. Look over here, bud.
What's up, Rocky? He's super cute.
He
Who,
kind of runs things around here.
who does Rocky like better, you or Chach?
Well, I'm Mama, and he we have this like physical contact thing where he needs to be touching me, or be like, when I lay down,
Oh.
he comes to like the mama spot, which is like he's the
Mm-hmm.
little spoon,
Yep.
But he loves Daddy. He loves Chach, because Chach plays with him so hard so they get to be like men, boys together. Like he gets the best out of. I mean, like
Oh,
he's literally like a dog child,
yeah.
and
They are children for sure.
yeah. He just. I mean, he really loves and misses Chacha when he's not around, and he gets a lot more time with me. So because I'm here the most. So
Yeah. My wife and I
but
definitely fight over the attention of the dogs. It's pretty hilarious. Like, the dog slept with you last night. Give him to me. I was just like in the middle of the night. Give him my dog. Luckily, we have
yeah,
there's two, so sometimes sometimes they
he's
end up with
great.
me. Sometimes they end up with her. We sleep with our dog. So.
Yeah, me too. He does the burrowing under the covers
Oh
thing.
yeah, the and does a little spin. Just got to get ready for
Yeah.
the, what would be a hole or a dug den. I don't know what that instinct comes from. It's really cool.
I think it's like a cave. Like they feel really safe when they know their whole surrounding behind them, and
Hmm.
so they like do that until they feel good. Then they can look out, kind of,
Hmm.
you know. And then they want warmth. It's just warmer, you know.
He is cute. My dog. I got one. Here, come here. You've been right here this whole time. Come here. Come. She's not. She's not about it. Let me see if I can. Here, come on. Come on. She's just looking at me like, you have no treats. How has like, I know most people are staying home right now. How has the lockdown affected your guys' cooking? Are you cooking more? Like, how has your food supply been in regards to cooking? I've definitely been doing a lot more cooking and snacking and everything.
Yeah.
Thought I was gonna eat less, and I'm just been. I have Lay's and Ruffles and Chips Ahoy right in front of me right now. Bad combo.
I've always been a snacker, so this isn't helping. You know,
Hmm.
like but they run out, and then there's this whole like rigmarole of like, how do I get more snacks? So I'm trying to get better about that. But I mean, I've only had food out since like the early March twice. Like once was over this weekend, Saturday night. I'm not gonna tell you what I got.
What'd you get?
Garbage. We do Popeyes.
I was driving to the pharmacy a day ago, and there's this line. I'm like, what is this line? It's for Burgerville.
Oh
So
yeah.
what was going on? People that don't know about this Oregon chain, Burgerville, my favorite place to get the rosemary fries. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're like one of the only places that does rosemary, the only place that does rosemary fries. And anytime they offer
Now
them,
you always hear about truffle fries or like
they,
turkey
oh, yeah,
fries.
their fry game, their fry game is next level. They have the waffle fries.
Oh. Well,
Yeah.
the first thing I'm gonna do when they open it, my favorite place is Basilisk.
Mm.
They do a fried chicken sandwich, and that's why we ended up at Popeyes because I couldn't get Basilisk. But they do a fried chicken sandwich and they do a fried chicken like salad with soba noodles in it,
Hmm.
and I literally have been craving that every single day. I miss it so much. So that'll be the first place I just raid. I don't know if you like Kim Jong Grillin, but they're supposed to open their cart back up tomorrow for limited mock up. So
Never
I
been
might
there.
I might do that. They do like bimbap box, it's like
Hmm.
Korean 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 Asian fusion.
I can only
um,
imagine the food cart game once this starts back up again. It's gonna just pop off again, maybe here, because it was kind of dying off, and they're getting rid of a lot of lots. But I have a
mhm.
feeling this could definitely, on the other side of this, our food carters could come back in full force. Because I've definitely been sad about how many food carts Portland has lost even since I've lived here.
And timing is everything, right? So we're just
Yeah.
about to go into like the mad, like be outside all day long and all night long season where, you just grab food as you walk by. So
Hmm.
yeah, I hope that works out. I hope-
I'm definitely a little bummed that I might miss my favorite summer things to do here in Oregon. One of the many reasons we moved to Oregon was, to be outside and be in the trees and be hiking and just
Mhm.
even where we live in Southeast Portland, and Fairfield feels like the botanical gardens is down the street. It's just like they say, Portland has one of the top 3 or 4 tree canopies in the nation that are still left. as far as an urban populated area. So not many people have like trees in their neighborhood like we do here. Um,
Yeah.
you know, I come from the desert, so the only trees that are really like native are like down by the river in the center of the town. Even those ones are hurting. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I love that landscape too. I guess the grass is always greener, but I, and I love cactus and sage and what is that
Pinon nuts
pinon?
and the so not a lot of people know about pinon nuts and hunting for pinon nuts. As
Mm-hmm.
a kid growing up in New Mexico, the pinon trees, which are these amazing little pine nuts that are delectable. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
You have to hunt for them on your hands and knees under the trees, like during a certain time of the year when they like let go of their seeds. And there's a couple of weekends that are like good for it. But you're also fighting against nature, against every squirrel in the forest. And like, so the timing is everything. And I can remember going up, it's sometimes in winter, it just kind of depends. I forget this time of the year that they do it. And they only let off the seeds like every 4 years or something. It's really
Mm-hmm.
weird. It's really strange. Like the seeds are here. Okay. Like, you're literally on your hands and knees picking through these little tiny pine nuts and taking them home and like roasting them in your stove. And it's a cool experience. The pinon seed hunting.
What do you use them like? What's their use in for culinary uses?
Oh my God. You could put slices of pinon nut on like a dessert. You could put it in a salad dish. What I mean, ask Whitney. She's the chef. Babe, what can you put pinon nuts in as a dish? Pesto,
Oh yeah, okay.
sa- salad. Yeah, I said that. Desserts, right? Desserts like you can mash it up and make like a pine nut ice cream. Um, Whitney says they're best just eaten alone after they've been freshly roasted. A little bit of salt on them, probably. Um,
I'm a snacker. I'm down with
they're
that.
pretty. It's a lot of work, but if for those that like pinon nuts, it's so much. It's so worth it. There's tiny little nut. You got to crack it just right. You're like a squirrel gnawing on this nut, and then you crack it, and then you finally get to eat this most amazing nut. It's the best pine nut out there. And it's
Wow.
so delicious and it's tender and so flavorful, and it just, oh man, it's the perfect snack. They sell them like shelled, but I don't know. When he says those aren't the good ones.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just something about being kept inside of the nut and freshly cracking it. It just like releases whatever was all that earth that was in there. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I was there last July. I went to the Opera House
Mm, beautiful.
and yeah, and saw a sunset opera and just like walked all around the Santa Fe Square and saw all the bougie people buying really expensive art and ate so many Christmas e- enchiladas. Christmas is that or like what am
So
I
there's
thinking
red
of?
or green or Christmas, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I ate a bunch of Christmas style, and I brought back Big Jim seeds.
Yes, we have big Jims out in the garden ready to, I should probably plant those today. They're germinating. They're like this big now. We got a couple of different breeds like in the mail. We ordered seeds, or I don't know how we got some other seeds, but we got a couple of green chili and big Jims and a couple other like peppers.
Mhm.
I'm not a big pepper eater, but if I grow it, I'll eat it.
I love the flavor of Hatch. It's the best. To me, it's my favorite pepper. I mean, I love hotter ones, but there's something about how it's like a back of the throat heat
It's
that I
so
like
different.
better.
I
You
guess I'm
know?
talking about regular. I think about green chili pepper, the hatch green. At this point, like I don't even consider it a pepper. It's just like a staple food in my diet.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't even feel like an
totally.
alternate pepper. I'm talking about just like other jalapeno peppers and just things like that. Just don't compare. Just I don't know. It's
It's so
different.
special.
It's so special. It's the climate. It's the love that those farmers down there uh, put into
And the
their chili.
water.
And
Water has a big effect on the end result, you know, like whatever the water is that's coming there affects the taste.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you and Chach enjoy a certain food together, or one of you like don't like something or like something? Because I know like Whitney right now, she's not eating cheese, which has changed my whole thing up. So
Oh, I the only thing I'm not eating is pork because I used to love pork and then I seem to collect these dogs that look like little pigs and I'm having like a like heart and mind like confusion of like I just feel real bad eating pork
yeah,
now
they're
because
smart little creatures.
yeah I like I could see in my home a I'm not getting a pet pig anytime soon, but like I could if it happened it wouldn't be like that far fetched and so it's just hard for me to
One of my
eat it
friends at Kira
now.
has had a pet pig for like 8 or 9 years. His name is Doobie. I still see
Oh,
pictures of him on the internet. He's big now. He's smart. He's well trained like a dog, right? In fact, I think he's
yeah,
probably like, I'm not sure if they're smarter, but they're like almost equally as intelligent as like a dog in their training ability. Um,
yeah.
I just remember being in college and her like going around with this pig around the neighborhood, and I'd be, what is that? Yep, it's a pig. And he's like oinking away, super cute. Has sweaters and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I could get
So
that. I could get why people go vegan. I could understand that.
I'm not ready to do that because I do relate to you and I love cheese.
Yeah,
I don't really need cow dairy, but I love the goat cheese and um I I don't I'm eating so much like chicken and turkey these days. But and once in a while red meat will make its way in, but not that often. But I mean cooking wise, I mean Chach Chacha's never really gonna like instigate the cooking ceremony or situation or whatever. So I'm always organizing all that, but he'll come and cook with me whatever I'm making, and that's really fun. I get almost as much out of that as anything else right now. Like
it's
that, just
fun.
that time. It's really nice to just slow down and
For
focus
sure.
on making a meal. I made a soup last night that made me feel like it took me so long yesterday that I mean it's a soup I make all the time, but I had done so much yesterday so that and then at the end of the day then I made the soup so I didn't even eat any of it yet so that's what's for dinner tonight but that's why I like to make it because it's around for several days so
Yeah,
it's just
absolutely.
I take a rotisserie chicken and whatever's left, I make broth and then I use the meat and do chicken, white bean, kale, and then usually whatever's left in the fridge. So like this time there's some carrots and some like egg noodles and celery and obviously your aromatics to flavor it up. So it doesn't have a lot of heat or anything. It's more really just a comforting one right now. But um, that one I can make with my eyes closed. So,
Yeah.
but I tried a few new things this time around. I made a chili about a month ago, which that was a hit and it lasted a while. We ended up making tacos with it and we made nachos with it so it like lasted
Yeah.
a long time.
We were
I
actually
did
lucky with the sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
was it, no you're good, go
So
ahead.
we got kind of lucky in the fact that we had the baby in the middle of February because Whitney, my wife, was preparing for like not cooking and stuff. So we had so much meal. We still have meal prep done with all these soups that had been frozen, and it's been really great during this quarantine slash lockdown situation. Like, man, well, neither of us, with the
I feel like
being
cooking.
tired, yeah, we're like, we're not cooking, and it's really just saved our butt. It just happened to line up with the baby, which is still hard, but at the same time, being prepared for the baby like made us prepared for this situation, which has been
Hmm.
kind of crazy. But it's good to
Yeah.
hear you guys are doing good. I'm glad that the business is doing well. Hopefully when DJ things start again, I would be happy to book you. That'd be super fun to have you once we get our lives back, if how they were. I'm sure it'll be very different, like I told a couple people, I'm like, I'm probably not giving hugs for like 3 parties, like at least. It's gonna be weird.
It's definitely this like weird kind of achy feeling that you get when you do see someone at a distance and you can't hug them, and it's sort of like, but then you don't, I don't know. It's
gonna be weird. Bizio said he told me, he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do it till they get the vaccine. Like, it's like, all right, dude. Some people, it's gonna be like that. It's just,
yeah.
I've always been a germaphobe, and man, has this turned me to crazy.
I feel like I've always been a little lax. Okay. I'm like, I got 70s immunity. Like, we used to eat dirt and stuff and no seatbelts, but this is definitely woken me up to, I'm lucky that my 70s immunity has kept me alive this long. Now it's time to like get some better habits. And so I've been doing this is my version of the mask, and because I'll never take it off, and then every day I wash it. So and gloves, I'm wearing gloves anytime I have to leave the house, and just trying not to go when things are going to be busy, and always observing 6 feet. But I will take you up on that when we're back.
Yeah, we'll be there back eventually. I'm no rush to get things rolling, too fast. I want to make sure everyone's safe before we start to, so we could all be together safely. I would hate to see someone in our community get sick or worse. So.
For sure. Yeah, I know. I'm just realizing now we have not heard of anybody in our community being affected yet.
Yeah, cross our fingers that it stays that way. So.
Yeah. Saturday night, I'm playing on the Holocene live stream.
Yeah, tell us more about that live stream, though. Still going to send it one, right?
Yeah, I don't have any mental links in mind, and if you want to try and see what you can find, that's great. But yeah, it's Holocene is a club in Portland, and they've been doing every Friday night and Saturday night a live stream and posting the links to the DJ's Venmos, so they can receive any funds that people feel like sharing for the night for listening. And it's hosted by Chris Hogland and Katya. They do a party called Full Send. It's usually fourth Saturdays. And so this weekend is actually Chris's birthday, and so instead of skipping it all together, he asked if he could still have the party but do it live stream style. So here we are, me and Sappho, an old friend of mine. We used to play together quite a bit.
Shout out, Megan.
Yeah, Megan. And so it'll be the first time we've been on the same bill in a few years, but like definitely not just the two of us in a long time. So it'll be good music from start to finish. So
sweet. Are you guys gonna do it from there and like film it all there?
Yeah, they have a really good setup. They've got like one camera that's pointing down to the turntables from the ceiling, and then they've got one in front. So they have like a 2-camera thing going, and it keeps it really it keeps the visuals fresh. And then I think this is common knowledge. Like, the sound at Holocene is not Portland's best. It's not terrible, but it's not Portland's best. But it sounds pretty good at home. So it's a good combo with like what they're doing, like video wise, with their sound send on Twitch. It turns out to be a pretty fun Friday night and Saturday night. So yeah, that's the Friday night one. Okay. No, that was last Saturday. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Cool. We followed them, so you can, if you want to follow Holocene on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/Holocene Portland.
Yeah.
Here's the.
I love Holocene. I've been friends with those guys since the day they opened their doors, and they gave me so many great opportunities back when they opened, and I'll do anything for them. Awesome. Ever. Love that spot. So.
Anything else that you're doing or you got coming up other than making rad art and hanging out at home with the doggos?
I enrolled in it's called Heritage Interior Design School, and
Oh,
that starts
congrats. That's cool.
yeah.
Big ups on
So
that. That's awesome.
that starts May 4th. It was supposed to start April 7th, and it just keeps getting pushed out based on when what the governor's shelter in place rules. But I'm stoked. I think that it's a direction that I can take Wild House and add to it with some real, like the actual theories and foundations of um, of design from like more of an architectural perspective, and
Mhm.
you learn AutoCAD and also like meet all the players in town that do flooring and window covering and textiles, like curtains and wallpaper, all that kind of thing, and really become immersed in this other part of Portland that I just haven't had dipped my toe in yet in the 20 years I've lived here. So just always trying to grow and expand,
Yeah.
and that's going to be what I hopefully write out on is after I get my certification. So
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Big ups on that. I hope that
yeah.
it's really rewarding for, what you're trying to accomplish for yourself. It's always nice to go to school exactly what you want for. Um,
Yeah,
not a lot of other people get to do that despite their, their life issues or their, their place in life. Because I know plenty of friends that were pushed into, just different sort of jobs and still are there
totally.
and just kind of struggling. So I'm
Mm.
happy for you. That's super
Thank
fucking
you.
awesome, dude. I hope that we could get Chach on here too. Ask him if he's down to chat. That'd be super cool too.
I'm sure he will talk to you anytime. I thought you asked him already, but
I
I'll
had to
mention it
send
to
him
him.
I have like a couple lined up, and I was actually trying to do less a week, so that was like up to 4 a week. But yeah, I'll send him a message today. That'd be super cool.
Okay.
Cool,
Yeah, he can talk. He'll talk to you all day long. So know.
cool. I usually, I'll put these up like within a day or two usually, and if you want to listen to it first, we could always do that.
I'm good. You can just put it up. It's
It's
fine.
it's cool. It's the whole reason. Literally just shoot the shit, and we're all so far away from people right now. It's nice to socialize, and have something feel like that we could still connect. So this is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't do a little spin around. Do you?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it
Let's see your other products to get the
is
the
it still
virtual.
relevant? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. So, okay, what do we got here? I'm like trying to not fall down. So this is some plant hangers. Well,
Cool.
that's one there. Um, this is my coffee from yesterday. That's a little plant can that he
Oh,
made.
cool.
Can you see that okay?
Yeah, that thing's awesome.
Yeah. It's this one is it's like the smallest one we make, but it's cool because you can just set something down into it. Sorry.
Awesome.
Yeah. And down here,
Cool. I like the
that
tall
one.
one.
Yeah,
That was
the tall
awesome.
ones are like that was kind of where I was telling him to go with it in the first place. I was like, do things that are not attainable by like yourself, like make things that people can't make themselves and become indispensable with it, because like how do you get a plant to be suspended that high, like like it's like table height almost. And let's see.
Cool.
Yeah. And then over here in the corner there's a couple more. Well, here's some hangers on the window, some more
Oh wow.
hangers. um there's a blush one. This one is navy blue. I'm having a hard time with this camera, but
No, that's fine. These are great.
they're backlit, so it's a little bit tough. But um, this over here is like a double one. It's like really tall. You can see.
Cool.
And then in the corner, it's going to be a little bit dark, but this is one of our more popular stands right here.
Oh, fun. I like the two-tone.
Yeah, it's a big seller. Everybody likes picking their two colors out, and then the plant just like sits down in it, and it's literally just a triangle void, but you can put the circle in the triangle and it just
Yep.
hangs out.
Sweet.
Yeah. I call that the Miami combo.
How do you come up with names for your items?
We each name our stuff independently. Like I name mine and he names his, and mine are usually named after women or female, something feminine. Here's one more. This red one is down here on the floor. This has kind of become our studio for a little while.
Nice.
So we can show people what we're up to. And there's one more here, this gray one.
Cool. You can definitely tell you're into interior design. I don't have that same knack at all. That's definitely an art, being able to put all these things together in the mix that are, that not only match, but like feel good together. I don't even know the right aesthetic words right now to explain interior design. So I think that's really cool that you're going to like dive even deeper into it. I think that's super awesome.
Well, now more than ever, I've always been aware, but now more than ever, like environment is everything, like your surroundings, and so for so long, music was what made up my environment, but then somewhere along the way, my head just started to transfer more, instead of like the feeling of being surrounded by music was just like, well, what's actually physically surrounding me, and it just kind of took off. But I mean, and now that we're home, people are sitting around waiting till they can like go back out and shop and like touch and feel things in stores and bring them back home. And so I'm hopefully going to be right in the flow with that.
Sweet. Hell yeah, dude. Well, thanks again for being down to chat and shoot the shit. It's, it's nice to, like I said, be social. And
it's so good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
And so good to see little Frida and Whitney.
Yeah, it's been really cool to, bring the baby to each guest. Like, hey, check out my baby. It's like
I know. Like that was my natural reaction. Right when she showed her, I went, "Look at that baby."
I showed her to a couple of my students in like our digital classroom on like this, and baby would steal the show. All of a sudden, you'd see a parent grab the computer and just be like a parent, and they're like, "Oh my god!" She's already popular before she's even out of the house. It's funny. I'm excited. It's been nice to have this time with her for sure.
Good. Well, congratulations, Papa.
Thank you, and I hope that you guys are doing well. And maybe we should plan just like a full Zoom party with a bunch of people and hang
That
out.
would be fun.
I think that'd be really cool.
Be super fun.
All right, dude. Salud. Thank you. I'm gonna hit up Chach today, and hopefully we can get him on here too.
You should do it. Yeah.
All right.
He'll cover a whole different gamut of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm sure he can. I can talk to him for hours. All right. Well, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.